basically this is all kind of Delulu land stuff. This idea that like, oh, we can just do whatever we want. And it just depends on my personal preference and, it'll all be fine. So, I mean, a lot of what Andrew tries to get you guys to think about is what you want on a personal level is not the only question here. It's not the only moral question. It's not the only thing to consider. There's a greater good. Society has to work together as a whole. So I know I just threw a lot at you, but does anybody have anything they want to jump in on?
With me specifically, my mom actually had to hide her pregnancy because in Thailand, when you are found out that you are having a baby or has a baby, you have to stop working completely and you're expected to take care of the child, and then later your expected child is supposed to help support your family.
Okay. I mean, I'm not sure if I would say that's good or bad. There are some like ethical issues or concerns I would have when we're discussing like kind of Christian societies versus non-Christian societies, and that's like a whole other topic. But in general, I would say that pregnant women, nursing mothers, mothers of young children should be at home with those children. If you look at the statistics in 1940, only about 6% of American women who had children under 5 worked outside the home. Now that number is like 58%. It's like super high. Most little babies and little children's moms spend most of their day at the office. And as a mother, 95% of all the time you'll ever spend with your child is gone by the time they turn 18. You don't ever get those years back. You don't ever get to do that over. You don't ever get that time. So to me, you're taking a precious finite gift that you have. You're taking this limited time of your life, a short time in your life that you get to spend raising your own children, and you're giving it away to somebody else, some $11, $12 an hour daycare worker, because you think being at the office is more important. And I understand completely that we're brainwashed and propagandized to think that. I was told all the time, from the time I was little, you have to go to college, you have to have a career, you have to have your own money, because if you don't, what? What do they say will happen to you? If you don't have your own money, if you don't have your own job, what's going to happen? You'll get trapped. A man could abuse you. What if he leaves you? What if he dies? What if he cheats? But nobody ever asks, wait, what if I spend all of my years going to college to be a surgeon, right? I want to be a neurosurgeon, like a really important job. I'm shooting for the stars. Nobody ever says, well, wait a second, what if you get in an accident and your arm gets broken and you can't do surgery? Or what if you get arthritis and you can't use the scalpel anymore? Like, what if your eyesight goes bad and you can no longer perform surgery? Nobody fearmongers women about all the things that can go wrong when you base your whole life around your career. They only fearmonger women about what could go wrong if they base their life around being a wife and mother. And I just think you guys probably don't ever get a chance to hear anybody say that to you, so I wanted the chance to say it.
I actually really appreciate hearing a different perspective, and I feel like you're very well knowledge, so it's very interesting what you have to say. So thank you. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad that you guys wanted to listen. But if anybody has an objection or a counter argument, or you're listening to me and you're like, well, wait a minute, but what about this, Rachel, or what about that? I'm happy to hear it if you have any objections or other thoughts about that.
I think that it is perfectly fine. I agree with your viewpoint. You should be there in your child's formative years. I also think that I want a choice that where maybe I don't know if I see a future with having kids in it, and if I want to be that neurosurgeon, if I want to be an anesthesiologist, whatever, that I can do that without having to worry about someone saying you're wasting all your childbearing years, or you want to be a stay-at-home wife. Like I said again, my mom's a stay-at-home mom. I love her. I think being a stay-at-home mom's amazing, but I also think that a lot of women, their mothers weren't allowed to have the choice to do what they want or be who they wanted because they were raising them. And I think that if they, maybe they don't want kids and they do want to pursue their career goals, that they should be free to.
Okay. So you guys were talking earlier about South Korea and how it has the lowest birth rate on planet Earth right now, which it does. It's 1.6 child per woman. But did you know that the whole world, except for a handful of African countries and Israel, are well below replacement and have been for a long time? If you guys follow Elon Musk on Twitter, he's probably the most famous person who's talked a lot about the birth rate collapse and what it could mean. And so basically in the year 2024, we've got planet-wide logistics that have pretty much wiped out hunger. The only places where there's still hunger, there's kind of like extenuating circumstances, reasons why that's still a problem. But in all the developed nations, like nobody has starved to death in the United States for many decades. It's not a thing. And the reason that's the case is because we had this big population boom during the Industrial Revolution, another baby boom after World War II, and with all of the time and human capital and brilliance of people, problem solving, and just more people in general, we've been able to eradicate a lot of problems we used to have with things like hunger, getting resources where they need to go. If we experience population collapse, which we are, if it keeps going where it's going now, we're going to start having problems, and we're already seeing that. So supply chains, we're already seeing some supply chain failures because there's simply not enough labor. We don't have enough people. It's one of the reasons there's so much illegal immigration. But even the places where those illegal immigrants were coming from, their populations are now well below replacement rates. So we're running out of people to even import. Places like Japan and Canada don't have enough young people to support the elderly populations. There's just not enough young people to, pay into the social security system or work at nursing homes or work in senior health care to take care of the elderly. So again, we can say it's really nice, I want the chance to follow my dream of being a neurosurgeon. And I'm sure there's always going to be some women who do that. But let me ask, how many of the women here have a college degree? Everybody raise your hand if you got a degree. There's, a lot of you. Okay, what's your degree in? Just go around and just tell me real quick what your degree is in.
Start with you.
I have my associates in social and behavioral sciences.
Okay, and next?
Just associates.
Okay, in what? What field?
In like mathematical.
Okay, next. Number 5, do you have a?
Psychology, but I don't really intend to use my degree. I just wanted to get it.
Yeah, psychology is probably the most oversaturated and most female field at the moment, so it's tough to get a good paying job. And then next, what's yours?
I'm currently obtaining a BA in Psych and Brain.
Okay, and next?
Health science.
Health sciences, okay, next?
Poli-sci and econ.
Okay. Are all of you, so one of you said you're not intending to work in the field. Are the rest of you all intending to have careers in the field you're getting a degree in? Okay. And did you, probably, most of you said yes. Did you notice that it's usually the same stuff? Like I was saying, it's like healthcare, it's psychology, it's like behavioral stuff. Most of you aren't going to be like structural engineers. Most of you aren't going to be like building life-saving medical devices or, any of those like super essential jobs. Nursing, there's some things you could argue are pretty essential, but men could do those jobs too. So why would it not be smarter to have all of you ladies here, if we had raised you different, if we had raised you to say, being a virtuous woman who is a good mother and a good wife and a good caretaker and a good member of the community, you're doing all the community stuff women used to do, like organizing community functions and church things and programs for kids and just all those support roles that women used to do. Would it be a better world if we were raising all of you girls to do that instead of raising you to start your OnlyFans, go to college, earn a degree? By the way, I bet a lot of you have some college debt. The average woman has like $40,000 in college debt after she graduates. So now you're having to go into your 20s with a whole bunch of debt and a degree that you may or may not be able to find a job in, that you may or may not like the job, right? And you're forgoing all of the childbearing years to chase that stuff. Do you think that that's like a net positive? Do you think that's a smart, like if you were king of the nation or queen of the nation, would that be how you'd want to organize things?